you may be like, oh, she comes from a Middle Eastern background and they're totally different. Every
Mm.
culture does things. I've heard horrifying stories, heartbreaking things that people grew up with in this country, in every region, in everything around the world, right? Like people controlling one another, people putting things on. Like, it's not unique to one culture, one religion, one sect, one, whatever, it's true.
I'm so glad you brought this one up, because I
Yeah.
used to think it was just me because of my background and my family and my community, until I started managing global teams for IBM. And I started traveling and living around the world, and my team, they would tell me about their fears of making mistakes, their worries of being judged, and their aspiration for perfection. And they would stop themselves. They would stop themselves from speaking up in meetings. They would stop themselves from challenging the norm or speaking up if the manager is present. And it was all around the world. And the more I would talk to them about that, I realized, as if they're living with an invisible vase, they may not have been told the story itself, but they are living with an invisible one. So that's when I got to a place after 20 years of corporate experience. I decided I have a bigger purpose than that. So that's when I resigned and I started my business. And my business is all about helping individuals discover their potential, discover their vases, and work with them to shatter these vases. Yes, there's consequences, but if we prepare for that, if we build them up and help them start questioning the norm and have a vision about the life that they want to create for themselves, but also imagine how this applies within teams too. Because how many teams, like any team, let's think of sales team, they're limiting themselves because of this voice in their head that's telling them they're not good enough, or they're worried of how they're being perceived. Why don't we work with them to shatter that? Why don't we work with them to help them understand their true potential, make mistakes, and let's work beyond that?